Welcome to T.R.E.E, Trauma-Informed Parenting with Dr. Hasshan. The T.R.E.E podcast presents resources, skills, and healthy parenting approaches rooted in self-care, self-compassion, and self-love, because we recognize that healthy roots produce healthy fruits. Today, we're going to talk about individual, vicarious, and family trauma. This information can be triggering, so be mindful of both your mind and your body's response to the info. Take a break if you need to, practice calming, practice mindfulness, and practice breathing exercises that will help you calm down. Utilize journaling and just breathe.
Hi, and welcome to Headspace. So no matter what's going on in your life right now, no matter how many thoughts are racing around your mind, no matter how the body's feeling, just take a moment to sit down and take a big deep breath, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. As you breathe in, a sense of taking in fresh air, the lungs expanding. As you breathe out, a sense of letting go of any stress in the body, in the mind, just feeling the muscles soften and relax. And close your eyes if you'd like to. One more. Breathing deeply in through the nose and out through the mouth. And just take a moment to pause. Allow the thoughts to come and go. And then just gently opening the eyes again.
Things to consider. We know that healing occurs in authentic relationships and within community. We know that communities and families possess all that they need to heal and thrive. And this series comes from an asset-rich approach that looks at the strengths that exist in you as an individual, that exist in your children, and that exist within your family. We also know that trauma survivors are often profoundly resilient, and resilience is the capacity to navigate, to bounce back from adverse, challenging experiences. So we know that trauma and resilience are often intergenerational. The strengths that you possess can be passed along and can create a legacy and break generational curses. Increased protective factors and non-traumatizing schools, providers, and institutions support your family and your community. So we want to build relationships with the teachers, with the clergy, with the individuals within our community that work with our children every day. And we also know that we can't simply focus on the individual traumas and experiences that someone has, but we must focus on root causes that impact our families, our individual, and our community as a whole. So we'll begin with, what is trauma? A traumatic experience is one in which someone experiences or witnesses an actual or perceived threat, serious injury, or threat to their physical integrity or self. It's something that really shakes up and stresses your psychological well-being. An event where your life is changed and things moving forward will never be the same. There's something called small T's versus large T's. When most people think of trauma, they think of these huge events: war, combat, natural disasters, physical or sexual abuse, terrorism, or catastrophic accidents. Yes, these are the most profound. However, a person doesn't have to undergo like an overtly distressing event for it to affect them. An accumulation of small T's. These are daily acts of oppression, daily acts of trauma that we characterize as small T trauma, has a huge impact on your life and health outcomes. So when we think about our children, we want to make sure that we protect them, that we listen to their daily lives and experiences, that we're aware of the impact that everything that they encounter and watch has on their lives. Then there's on to the large T's. These are distinguished as an extraordinary and significant event that leaves an individual feeling powerless and possesses little control of their environment. Such events could take the form of natural disasters, again, right? Terrorist attacks, sexual assault, combat, war, plane or car accidents. It really makes someone feel helpless. And Helplessness is also a key factor of large T traumas that distinguishes it from small traumas. Large T traumas are more readily identified by the experience as well as those who have any familiarity with their plight. So back to small T traumas. These are events that exceed our capacities to cope and cause disruption in our emotional functioning. These distressing events are not inherently life or bodily threatening, but perhaps better described as ego-threatening. Due to the individual left feeling notably helpless, some examples of small T traumas include conflict with a significant other, infidelity, divorce, conflict with a supervisor or a colleague, abrupt or extended relocation, planning a wedding. Sometimes small T traumas can be positive things that just create stress and anxiety for us. Starting a new job, purchasing a home, having a baby or adopting a child, legal troubles, financial worries and difficulties, or expensive or unplanned home repairs. What we have to recognize is that the accumulation of these small T traumas have a significant impact, again, on our life and health outcomes. One of the most overlooked aspects of small T traumas is that accumulative effect. So, consider this. How do small T traumas versus large T traumas show up different in the lives of our children? How do we as parents respond to them differently? What coping mechanisms are required for us as parents and for the children that we work with? Be kind to yourself as a parent. One of the ways that you practice this kindness is through self-compassion. What do we mean by self-compassion? Self-compassion is extending compassion to oneself during those times when you have this perception of failure, when you think you're not enough, and when you feel that you're struggling to recognize the value that you hold. We always remember that you are perfect, whole, and complete, and you're doing the best you can with what you have, and that parenting is not an easy job, and it takes work, it takes a supportive community, and it takes the dedication to learn new skills. Now we'll talk about family trauma. Family trauma is a traumatic event or series of events that impacts, destabilizes, or deteriorates a family structure. All families respond to trauma differently. Some factors such as a child's age or the family's culture or ethnicity may influence how the family copes and recovers from a traumatic event. Trauma changes families as they work to survive and adapt to their circumstances and environments. While this adjustment may be smooth for some, it can be challenging for others. And we encourage you to pull together, to communicate, to not be overwhelmed, and to maintain those vital family functions. Trauma can be frightening, often life-threatening, and violent events can happen to any and all family members. What is most important is communication, connection, and creating an environment where people can heal and thrive within the family.
Why do some people do well despite serious hardships? The science of resilience can help us find answers.
We define resilience as a good outcome in the face of adversity. The extent to which we can build capacities in all children early in their lives to be able to deal with whatever bumps in the road or major obstacles may be coming down the track, that's an investment in building strong human capital and healthy, productive adults.
Some children face more obstacles and adversity than others.
It's like having a parent with a major mental illness, growing up in a very socioeconomically disadvantaged community, going to schools that are not good, being exposed to violence in the neighborhood or in the home.
But some children do well despite these significant obstacles.
Resilience is that ability or set of capacities for positive adaptation, allowing you to keep in balance.
We're talking about the kinds of capacities and skills and the abilities that give people a sense of mastery and management of difficulty.
It's tempting to think about children as either having this resilient quality or not. But resilience is built over time just as and in parallel with how the architecture of the brain is built over time.
It's not just in the person. It's in the interaction between the person and the environment.
So we care about resilience for the same reason that we care about promoting healthy development, because in many respects it is the same. We are interested in promoting resilience in children so that, despite the odds, more and more children can grow up to be productive citizens.
Family resiliency. Some families face difficult environments and multiple stresses, and they show resilience, adaptation, and positive outcomes. We can build and strengthen through post-traumatic growth. Research shows that certain families experiencing post-traumatic growth can cope with and produce healthier ways of being. Operationalizing resilience in your family as they encounter chronic or ongoing adversities is not easy. It's not a simple task, and it must be considered from a space of a contextual space. And you have access to professionals, you have access to peers, you have access to support systems that help you to grow and reflect beyond the experience. Pain changes people, and I really want you to think about that as a parent. If we don't understand the impact of trauma on behavior and decision making, we run the risk of punishing people for normal reactions to abnormal experiences. A few tips on trauma-informed parenting. Help your children feel safe. Help children understand and manage overwhelming emotions. Help children understand and manage difficult behaviors. Another critical one, and don't forget this one, take care of yourself. If you don't take care of yourself, you won't be strong enough to take care of those that you love. By creating a structured, predictable environment, listening to your child's story and experiences at your child's pace, parents can make a difference. 5 healing gestures for you. Celebrate them with a compliment or by applauding their efforts. Comfort them by staying calm and patient when possible. Listen to them and show an interest in their passions. Collaborate with your children, always asking their opinion, and inspire them with new ideas that can change the world. Thank you.